Hey, what's going on, guys? So today, I'm going to talk of the NFL preseason games from week 1 of the preseason. Now, I don't believe the preseason games count, and I didn't do predictions, but I'll tell you who I would have taken. And if you want me to do predictions, let me know. But I will do it for the regular season. Nothing's changed in that regard. It's just that I'm not doing them right now. So, yeah, let's get into it. We're going to start by talking about the Colts-Ravens game. And I'm not going to talk about this game too long because it was... I'm just going to take away some key points. I was working during this game, so I couldn't even tell you who was playing quarterback in the preseason. And because I don't know if Lamar Jackson played a series. I think Anthony Richardson played, but still. Oh, the Colts. Look, Baltimore wins 24-9, 21-9. Or wait, no, 21-16. And 21-16. Baltimore beats Indianapolis, which I really didn't think it was no contest. I would have taken Baltimore no matter what day, what time. I didn't care. I was going to take Baltimore either way. So, yeah, Baltimore was just the better team. Indianapolis was not. Indianapolis didn't score a touchdown until the third quarter. Baltimore had the equivalent of 3 touchdowns. So, say 3 touchdowns for Baltimore. 21 points. Indianapolis didn't have their first touchdown till the end of the third quarter. Before that was 3 field goals. Those were the scoring plays for both teams. So Indianapolis loses 21-9. I'm going to talk about Bengals-Eagles. Okay, now we're going to talk about something really interesting. The Raiders and Seahawks game. This was a defensive-filled game. But I'm going to tell you the score. Nobody won. Nobody lost. This game ended in a tie, strictly because, well, there's 2 reasons, but the first one is the blocked field goal at the end of the game, but we'll get to that in a bit. And the second game, and I just found this out as I was watching the end of the game, and because I got home for the end of the game. And they said preseason games don't go to overtime. So, well, that's a 23-all game. Geno Smith actually played a series for the Raiders. The Raiders were down pretty big. When I turned the game on, it was 16-3. And then the Raiders scored a touchdown to make it 16-10. Seattle got off to a fast start, but the Raiders, they didn't go away. Seattle went down the field and scored another touchdown. No, they made it. The Raiders kicked another field goal. After that, they got it to a 3-point game. It was 16-13 in the blink of an eye. Next blink of an eye, it was 23-13. And then, next thing you know, it's 23-20. And the Raiders have the ball. They tie the game with a few minutes to go. Oh, that's how it ends. Ends with a blocked field goal. Pete Carroll, if you watch the game, you could see the look on his face. He was shocked and appalled at the way that one ended. And I don't blame him. I would feel the same way if somebody blocked my kick too. And I'm sure Broncos fans feel that way about the Chiefs. So, rivalries are already starting, and we're not even at the regular season yet. We're about 3 weeks away from 3 weeks to a month away from the regular season. And this stuff is already starting. And this is This is gives me a really fun season. But again, and this is a defensive filled game and a lot of defensive plays. But how we got a score like this? We had offense late in the game, start of the game, and Seattle's offense dominated, then defense for a long time. Gives us 23-23. Alright, so I'd feel good about anyone that watched Bengals Eagles. It was a 34-27 final score in this game. This was a much, much better game than Colts Ravens. And it's like, if I had a choice of which games I had to watch, I would watch this one on over again. And it was unlike the last time that they played in week 8 last year, where the Eagles dominated it because the Bengals didn't have a defense. The Bengals, I think, had a defense. It's this game. This game, they had a defense. I'm not sure. I didn't watch the game because I had to work. Yeah, I know. Rough start. But I don't control scheduling and I don't control when I work. I just have to make time for both accordingly. Now, that's pretty hard to do. But moving on. That's not the point. Okay, so the point is this was a better game. This was a good game. And Colts, Ravens, not so much. I mean, the Colts-Ravens score, I got it wrong. It should say 24-16. I put 21-16. Didn't get the outcome wrong. Just the score. We all make mistakes. Okay, so let's move on from that one. And by the way, I thought the Ravens would just be dominant either way. That score, I don't care. It makes it look a lot closer than the game actually was. So, yeah. But back to Bengals Eagles. This was actually a close game. And so I think Dorian Thompson-Robinson's the backup quarterback for the Eagles. So I think he was playing, and I know Desmond Ridder was playing for the Bengals. Both had pretty good games. Anyways, it was a really, really good game. And like the Bengals kept it close. They started off hot and then they got cold. Well, the Eagles stormed back. The Bengals scored a touchdown. And then the Eagles pulled away. But the Bengals made the game close. Whoever, Desmond Ridder or Joe Burrow, I think Joe Burrow might have been playing then. They might have switched the offense because they were losing so bad. Whoever it was dragged the Bengals back. They didn't get the job done, unfortunately, but they dragged it a lot faster. They dragged it back a lot. So they dragged their team back into the game. And before you know it was 27-34, critical moment, but then the Eagles, clock runs out, the Eagles hang on, and they win 34-27, yeah. So let's move on to the Raiders-Seahawks game. Okay, so this game between the Lions and the Falcons, I know football is supposed to be a happy game, but this was not a happy ending to the game. And I'll tell you the final score before anything else. The Lions win 17-10, but this was not a this game did not end in a positive way. You know, I'm going to try and be careful about what I say about this game. And because probably the biggest takeaway in what the game ended with, Maurice Norris, one of the Lions players, got very, very injured. Yes. Good. We'll go back to the start of the game. And Atlanta got the scoring started with a field goal, make it 3-0. The Lions scored a touchdown before halftime, make it 7-3, but then the Falcons scored a touchdown before halftime. So it was 10-7 Atlanta at the half. And then third quarter, the Lions score a touchdown and a field goal. What happened there? I pressed the wrong button anyway. So the Lions score, or a field goal and then a touchdown. That makes it 17-10. Atlanta had a running play at the start of the third quarter. Atlanta had a running play. But that's the play that Maurice Norris got injured on. Now, I'm not happy that Maurice Norris got injured, and I wouldn't be happy if anyone got injured, especially the way it happened. Like they had EMTs rush onto the field. They even had to get the ambulance truck onto the field for Grady Memorial in Atlanta. It was very bad. It was a very bad ending, and so much so that none of the players could even think about finishing the game. They just stood there and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. They stood around, they gathered, and went down to a knee while he was still on the field. They went down to a knee. They kneeled down. They stood near the benches, sidelines. They gathered around the Falcons logo in midfield. They placed the ball there, not minding the line, because, well, when something like that happens, you don't mind the lines and the distances, because your mind's not on that. Your mind is on, is our player okay? And it's not just the Lions that did that. The Falcons did that as well. That proves to everyone that there is bigger things to worry about than finishing a football game. And there are bigger things we need to worry about out when stuff like this happens. We need to make sure, or a brother, or a teammate, and a friend, we need to make sure everyone's okay. And this should happen anytime that someone gets injured, especially to that extent. But my heart goes out to both the Lions and the Falcons. They both showed us a great lesson in humanity tonight, or in this game. In a 17-10 final. The game was suspended, but they stood around and just reflected, and as they stood midfield, like sometimes there are more important things than finishing a football game. And it's really understandable. Well, it's really a good thing that they didn't finish the game. And it was a live play, and then they were standing around till they just stopped the clock and the game ends. So, yeah, this was very, very sad ending to the game. Well, we'll move on to a happier game now. Okay, so here we go. We're going to talk about the Cleveland and Carolina game now. This was Shedeur Sanders' debut into the NFL. This is the first time we saw him in an NFL game. And I'm sure this was probably the most interesting game of Friday night, because we wanted to see, how's Shedeur going to do? Is he going to be bad, or is he going to be good? Well, there's a lot of media attention around him. I think he silenced all of his critics. and had a monster performance. And it's on Friday night. The Browns win 30-10. The Browns went 30-10. And Shedeur Sanders threw 2 touchdowns, about 247 yards. I'm just estimating. But he was playing out of his mind, man. Shedeur Sanders is playing out of his mind. And he is a top. He might have been drafted in the 5th round and the 5th quarterback selected. But yeah, I mean, it would have been more special if he was at Tennessee. But I'm not going to discount him what he did with Cleveland, because Shedeur Sanders made that offense run better than any Browns quarterback did all of last year. We're only 1 week into the preseason, and things are already changing, and haven't even got to the Saturday games yet. And so, yeah, meanwhile, for Carolina, Andy Dalton didn't have a good day. I think he went 13 for 19. He threw an interception. Shedeur Sanders didn't throw 1 interception. He was eventually replaced in the 3rd quarter. I don't know why. Like, this wasn't the game I was mainly going to watch. This wasn't the most compelling game for me. Hey, but I've been flipping the channels, and the Browns were winning, and I thought Carolina would win this game. I thought Bryce Young would have played. I didn't think Andy Dalton was going to play. I didn't think Shedeur Sanders was going to play that good his first time. Shedeur Sanders is something special. He's something special, man. And I wouldn't be surprised if he started the whole season. As he should. Shedeur Sanders should start the whole season. And Carolina, I mean, it's back to the drawing board for them, but it's only preseason for Carolina. I'm not going to say the same thing about Cleveland and Shedeur Sanders, because he had a lot of critics up until this point. And for him to go out there and do that is a huge accomplishment in and of itself. So the Browns win 30-10. Let's move on to Washington, New England. That'll round out our Friday games. Okay. As I mentioned at the end of the last bit, we're going to talk about the Commanders-Patriots game now. This was an absolute blowout. But not for Washington. No. Washington is the one that got blown out. New England. And had a really good game in tonight. New England wins 48-18. They put up 48 points. And I don't care if it's preseason, the Super Bowl, postseason, regular season. You do that anytime. I'm expected to or not. 48, that margin of victory is still impressive. A whole 30-point victory. Still impressive, especially when it's like 48 points. And there was a lot of special things that happened tonight. The Patriots played really well. The Tom Brady statue outside the stadium got unveiled. Old Patriots players had really good performances up and down the field. Drake May, Ace, saw him. Josh Dobbs played decent enough, in my opinion. And, I mean, I like Josh Dobbs. What else? Too many good things to name on the Patriots side. For Washington, didn't have a great game, but in their defense, they were not playing their starters. Or because it was a preseason game. If they had played their starters, this game would have turned out a lot different. But that doesn't play out like that. The Patriots win 48-18. I thought I was going to say 38-18. 48-18. I mean, they're New England. And, like, New England's first play was a touchdown. Like, Washington deferred to the second half. That proved to be a mistake of itself. As well. Oh, that one? I'm not defending that one. On you made a mistake on the coin toss, Austin Nate, and you got a kick return touchdown. And you can't complain about it because you deferred it to them. Well, I mean, kind of, they didn't think it was going to happen. You never think things are going to happen until they do. I mean, you prepare for it, but in the moment, you don't think it's going to happen sometimes. But, and then, you don't think the rare stuff is going to happen, and then the rare stuff happens. And it was straight uphill from there for New England. Washington deferred the coin toss. That's probably where they lost the game, if I had to give one answer as to it. And Washington never got close. It was 27-3 at halftime. Washington, again, they never got close. New England had their way with them. I thought Washington would have won this game. Anyway, no, I was not picking because of starters. Or I was picking because of backup. I thought Washington's backups were better than New England's. It turns out I was really wrong. But yeah, New England wins 48-18. Let's move on to the Saturday game because, boy, there's a lot to unpack there. Right, let's keep these recaps going with Giants-Bills. Now, the Giants win 34-25. The Giants somewhat controlled the tempo of this game, but they weren't leading the entire time. This was a pretty close and competitive game for a preseason game, that is. Buffalo really hung in there most of the game. And so, there's things going on back and forth. Or before you knew it, the Giants were pulling away. And I didn't really watch this game. And I would have liked to, but I was busy during the game. But I watched the highlights after. It was like, Giants score first, and then the Bills. Like, the teams were trading a little bit back and forth, and then how do I say it? Yeah. And then they kind of go, the Giants kind of pull away. The Bills come back, they take a lead. The Giants get the lead back. The Bills take the lead back. Back and forth. Until eventually, guys, the Bills take a lead, and then the Giants go in and pull away for good. It's the 34-25 victory. Now, talk about the quarterback competition for New York. I think it's really between Russell and Jameis. I don't think Jackson Dart is ready yet. I mean, he was okay. I mean, the Giants quarterback wasn't like eye-popping and like, hey, this is like this could be a really good team, unlike Cleveland and New England this week. Unlike Shedeur Sanders, the quarterbacks didn't do it. It didn't really give that much impressive. Didn't impress me that much, but they didn't disappoint me. So it's kind of like I'm kind of median stand on all of the quarterbacks. I need to see a little more from each quarterback before I can really justify what to say. And because I don't want to be too mean, and because they didn't have eye-popping performances, but they weren't bad either. They were kind of somewhere in this middle, but then again, like I made the same point about Washington. Buffalo was not playing their starters. Or so. Oh yeah, if Josh Allen had played in this game, it would be Buffalo domination, but Josh Allen didn't play in this game. Preseason, not really some team's speed. And that's okay, because preseason games don't usually count. But then again, the Giants win 34-25. Let's keep these recaps going, shall we? Alright, so I am nervous and excited to do this. I have to talk about my Arizona Cardinals playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh man, it was an awful game. The Chiefs blow us out. And the referees, they seem to hate us. We fumble in an opening. No, not all of that is true. I'm just joking with you guys. The Cardinals actually win the game, 20-17. I would have liked it to be 27-17, but hey, it's a win against the Chiefs, and we won our first game of the new year. A win's a win. But it didn't. It started out real bad. So first off, they started with the fumble on the opening kickoff that made the score 7-0 Chiefs. And then Kyler Murray was on point tonight. The one mistake he made, throwing the interception to the Chiefs. I don't know if the score was 7-0 or 7-3 that point. I think it was 7-3 that makes it, then goes to 14-3. And then Jacoby Brissett comes in. He went 5 for 8, 81 yards, but he threw 2 touchdowns. And one, I think, deeper into the second quarter, and one right at halftime. So those 2 touchdowns alone take it from 14-3 to 17-14 Arizona at half. The teams trade field goals. Kansas City scores their next field goal in the third quarter. Or that would be their last points. And the Cardinals score theirs, I think, in the third or fourth quarter. I don't exactly remember. But, again, they do score. Or a field goal. And they hold on to win. And the Cardinals, I don't want to criticize my team after a win. But they had some missed opportunities. I was worried about the refereeing in this game. And because of what happened with the Chiefs last year, the refereeing was god-awful. Well, I heard some teams were very unhappy with how their games against Kansas City ended. And I was worried, especially when Land Clark was refereeing the game. I didn't think this was going to be a fair game. But it seemed to be a fair game, so yeah, I got no complaints. Really. So, played pretty good. We missed some opportunities, but we also made enough opportunities to win the game. We only took 5 penalties. The Chiefs took 11 penalties. We stopped Kansas City's run game. Kyler Murray, I think, played more series than Patrick Mahomes, so more positives than negatives is leading to the win. So, yeah, once again, the Cardinals win 17-20. Let's talk about the Broncos game next. Okay, let's talk about that Denver-San Francisco game, The Broncos win the game 30-9. I almost said 31 now. It was 30-9. Now, Mac Jones started the game for San Francisco. I don't know if he played the whole game, but I think he played a good portion of it. So did Jared Stidham for the Broncos. I know Bo Nix started the game, and Bo Nix didn't have a great day, but it's preseason. Teams are still working out the kinks. Thanks, and yeah, it's not much more to say about that. Teams are still working out the kinks. Thanks in some of their rosters. Other players are starting to get back into the thick of things. So, yeah, that's what probably happened there. But the Niners actually started off good. They started off with a touchdown and then a safety, making it 9-0 by the end of the first quarter. And then here come the Denver Broncos. Oh, the mighty Denver Broncos scored 30 unanswered points, touchdowns. It started with a field goal, and then went touchdown, field goal, 20-9 by half. And then Denver scored another 10, scored 3 in the third quarter. So, pretty quiet third quarter. They're scoring with 3-0 for the Broncos, making it 23-9 by the end of the third. And almost a pretty quiet fourth quarter, too, until the late game touchdown, which put the Broncos at 29. Extra point convert made it 30-9, and that is your final score, 30-9 for Denver. Denver Denver's really playing well. Jarrett Stidham had a great game. And, I mean, the Niners, they did okay in the first quarter, but after that, it was straight downhill from there. You need to clean that up if you're going to make the playoffs. But Denver, I mean, I would like to see a little more of Bo Nix. Like, it's the same thing with Kyler Murray for me. Yeah, I would have liked to see a little more of Bo Nix, but I mean, Jarrett Stidham had a good game, and if need be, I mean, he could be a backup. We'll see. Now talk about that Steelers-Jaguars game. That was a pretty good game. I feel bad that I didn't watch that game. But I did watch some of the highlights. I'll tell you the final score. The Steelers win 31-25. I've over the Jacksonville Jaguars. 31-25, but the Steelers had a pretty good offensive day, but there were more highlights on the Jacksonville side of the ball. I'm surprised that they didn't win this game. And I think Jacksonville deserved to win the game. And because we'll talk about Travis Hunter. Trevor Lawrence had a pretty good day. He played quarterback. Trevor Lawrence played quarterback for a little bit. And he played the quarterback position. What am I thinking of? And Travis Hunter made his rookie debut in this game. He had a quiet rookie debut, but still good. Played a couple offensive drives. Pretty quiet. Didn't register a stat. Didn't register too many stats on defense, but it's only the preseason. He's still trying to figure things out. He'll get better with time, as most of the rookies will. Oh, but he is the fourth choice to win in any of the stats. So, hey, you got that to look forward to. And what else? Oh, that's right. All right, Jacksonville kicker Cameron Dicker. I think that's his name, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Cameron Dicker made a 70-yard field goal. But there's the one disappointing thing about that field goal. It was in the preseason, so it won't count for the Hall of Fame. But still, I've got to start my own Hall of Fame, preseason, regular season, and above. 'Cause I just watched that field goal, and then it said, and I mean, you hear the Jacksonville broadcast, he just made a 70-yard field goal. That would have been an NFL record if it was made in the regular year. And that proves what Cameron Dicker can do. Jacksonville might be a good team. Could be a good team this year. Because I think they've got a lot. I think they actually got a lot better. But I also think the Titans got a lot better. And, I'm starting to regret taking the Titans over the Jaguars for the end of the year. So, yeah, I might be regretting that. But Steelers had touchdowns and field goals. The Jaguars had more of the highlights, and they should have won this game, but they don't win. It's 31-25, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville started winning any day soon. And let's keep going, shall we? Alright, continuing these recaps, and we got the Jets-Packers game. And the Jets win 30-10. And which is surprising, because I thought Green Bay would win this game. I mean, they have Taylor Pendrith, or who is that? Whatever, they have a Canadian quarterback. I think that's his name, Pendrith. I might be getting that confused. Malik Willis also played in this game, but Justin Fields played for the Jets, and he played really well. Only there was a sequence where he was almost going to get sacked, and then escapes trouble, and finds the end zone, for the touchdown. I don't know. On the highlight I watched, it was one of the highlights I watched. Didn't really watch a lot of highlights for this game. And because I thought the Packers would dominate them, but it was still a dominant game but just for the Jets, not for the Packers. Which is odd. Because, I mean, Jordan Love and Malik Willis both played in this game. I think only Justin Fields played for the Jets. But hey, it's a good start for New York. Or it's a good start to the preseason for the Jets. And I mean, they need it. Yeah, but just New York Jets, don't give your fans false hope. Hope if you're not gonna have the will to back it up. But don't lie to your fans. I mean, I'm not very high on the Jets just because they have a tough schedule on the first 8 weeks. And when I have them starting to win, it'll be already too late. But who knows? They could still make the playoffs and shock me. So I'm watching. And so yeah, Jets win 30-10. Let's move on. Alright, so we're going to talk about the Tampa Bay Tennessee game now. Tampa Bay wins 29-7. And Tennessee only scored one touchdown. The Buccaneers had their way, but Rachaad White got injured in this game. And he had I think it was a groin injury. Yeah, I think he's day-to-day. Not sure. He left the game. But Tampa does have Bucky Irving as well, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But Tennessee, this was Cam Ward's rookie debut. Oh, and I know those don't happen until the regular season, but it's the first time we saw him in a game. And Cam Ward led a touchdown drive. And Cam Ward was asked, who were the top 3 wide receivers before he was drafted this year? And he said Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and they thought he'd say A.J. Brown. But no, he said Calvin Ridley. So now, once I heard that, I knew the Titans I knew he was going to be very productive. I have a quarterback who's going to throw at him. More often than not. Because now Tennessee has a quarterback that thinks Calvin Ridley is the number 1 wide receiver. I mean, hey, he's on your own team. I get it, okay? Calvin Ridley wouldn't be my first choice, but hey, I get it. Hey, stick up for your own team. So, yeah, and then everything, I think, was going into place for the everything was going into place for the Buccaneers, but everything was going into place on the one touchdown drive that Cam Ward played. And he played one drive. 3 of his 5 completions on that touchdown drive were to Calvin Ridley. So both of them played really well, but Tampa dominated them every other moment of the game. Tennessee, you gotta stop getting manhandled. I shouldn't be highly critical. Tampa Bay is a really good team. And we'll see how they do in the next couple games. Talk about the Minnesota-Houston game now. Minnesota wins 20-10. And this was a pretty boring game, so yeah, this was quite a boring one, if I do say so myself. Alpha. Minnesota started the scoring with a field goal, and then Houston scored a touchdown. That was Houston's only lead of the game. Minnesota kicked a field goal, and then went off for 2 touchdowns. J.J. McCarthy played well in this game. And for Houston, I mean, they played bad, but again, no starters. They didn't play most of their starters anyway. And this was probably a pretty boring game. If you're not a Texans or Vikings fan, you probably would have skipped over this one. But yeah, the Vikings win 20-10. Okay, we're going to talk about the Dallas-LA game next. The Dallas-LA Rams game. Because there are 2 LA teams. Now, categorizing this with the Sunday games because I watched this game on Sunday, not Saturday. Hey, this game was played on Saturday. Hey, just make that clear. The Rams win 31-21. But the Rams probably should have blown them out, won by a lot more. Or the Rams started off 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, 6 points in the second quarter. Or they just kept running away. Dallas only had 2 field goals by halftime. Dallas had a good quarter, good fourth quarter, but they really never got close. Also, there was also one funny takeaway, like the referee ran into CeeDee Lamb on the sideline. I don't know what that was about, but the referee ran into CD there. And it's just weird. Alright, anyway, let's talk about the Dolphins-Bears games next, because Rams-Cowboys game was kind of boring. Like, we knew who was going to win. Okay, Miami and Chicago. You'd think there'd be a winner and a loser in this game. And would you? No. The Dolphins and Bears tie at 24. This is our second tie. There's 2 ties already in week 1 of the preseason. Again, we had no ties last year. Preseason, playoffs, regular season. Well, I mean, you can't tie in the playoffs. I mean, you just can't do that. But playoffs, regular season, postseason, any type of football game last year, no ties. We're only 1 week into preseason. 2 already. The Dolphins maybe should have won this game. And Miami started out well. It was a pretty quiet first quarter. Or it's like, it turned into a punt fest. Boring first quarter. Second quarter, we don't get our first touchdown until about a minute in. And Miami scores the first touchdown. Chicago answers. Miami goes up 14-7, and then I think by halftime, the Bears go up 17-14 and then the Dolphins go up 21-17. The Bears go up to 24-21. The Dolphins kick a field goal, and then the game ends. What a team could have kicked a field goal and won the game. Either team could have. I think Miami probably deserved to win this game. But I did think Chicago was going to win this game too, so yeah. So they tied. Not much else to say. Now, the last game of the week, Saints-Chargers. Saints-Chargers. The Chargers win dominant fashion. 27-13. 27-13. The Chargers were really dominant on both sides of the ball. Well, Taylor Heineke was playing in this game, not Trey Lance. He had himself a day. And the Chargers are a very, very deep team. And, like, I think it could be either them or Denver that dethrones the Chiefs. But playing each other, those are going to be some really good games in the regular season. But for now, they played the Saints, and Tyler Shuck didn't look good out there. The Saints made Taylor Heineke look like an all-pro. The Chargers were just dominant. And I heard them say on the broadcast when I was watching the highlights of this game, and he was like, you got a good defense. I don't know if they said this, but I'm going to say this. If your biggest problem on defense is not remembering who made a good play, you got a good defense. You got a really good defense. And so the Chargers have that, and they weren't playing their starters. No starters, no problem. The Chargers might be the deepest team in football. Oh, they're loaded with good players. Like, one player goes down, probably next man up. And that's something we haven't seen from the Chargers maybe ever. So, yeah, the Chargers offense did pretty well. I mean, Omari and Hampton, I think he's playing preseason football because he's a rookie. And I really think the Chargers are a contender this year. And the Saints, I didn't think they were going to win this game. They don't look good. Saints, they might be in for a long year. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I got to be honest as well. But anyway, that's going to do it for the preseason week 1 recap. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Pretty long video, but with 16 games. I mean. Yeah, no, and let me know if you want me to do preseason predictions. I'm not planning to do predictions until week 1. But if you want me to, I can. Anyway, that'll do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.